At 10:59, we are locked on for another presentation of Voices. My name is Socrates, and of course, we're broadcasting from the Sands Complex, downtown, beautiful Bastia, in my twin island slice of paradise. It's the 19th day of July, another beautiful day in paradise. As a matter of fact, we were blessed earlier today with some showers of blessings, and then the sun came out. And then I got to Bastia, and guess what? The umbrellas are out. It's wonderful. And we want to give thanks for another beautiful day. Most are saying, thank God it's Friday, it's payday, etc., etc. But we count the blessings first, and it's just another beautiful day in my twin island slice of paradise. Okay? So we want to pause first to give credit to our sponsors. And when we return, I'll be introducing two beautiful souls who are here within the studio to share lots of invaluable information with us. So we take it downtown firstly, and then we return to get into the meat of today's presentation.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow!
Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
Insurance Company Limited, where you get more coverage for less.
Magnum, my brand. Everybody put your Magnum in the air now. From you a drink Magnum, make me see. Take charge of things now your place now. From the river to the beach to the street. Hot Magnum when me have in a me hand there. He are a sipper, she tell me sweet. Look for me watch for your quick time check. Yeah. Right now a Magnum a for your beat. Enjoy yourself every day of the week with a Magnum. My life I forget sweeter. Must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Welcome back to our viewers at home and those abroad in the various time zones around the world. We say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another presentation. Friends of the Federation, like Rosemary Donald up there in New York. We have on soil Miss Brenda O'Neill and the usual fan base. Sister Henry, good morning to you. Mr. Val Monish, all the folks who make this show possible. Welcome to another presentation of Voices. I alluded to two very special guests with us in the studio in the persons of Sister Brown Bill, and she is the BFHI coordinator. She'll explain to you exactly what that means, but she represents St. Kitts. She's also a nurse manager for the maternity ward at JNF. And with her, we have Miss Sheridan Weaver. Did I get that correct? Sherry Ansi. Yes. Nutrition officer. And we're here to discuss Breastfeeding Week. And that's coming on stream from the 1st to the 7th of August. All right? Yes, so, ladies, you're here to educate the world about the Breastfeeding Week, what leads up to that, the importance of that, and Nutrition Week. So it's all yours. Who wants to go first? Are we going to flip a coin?
I'll start.
You have a big smile, but you're away from the microphone, so you got to bring it to you.
Morning,
there we go.
Thank you for having us this morning. So we're going to share a little bit about World Breastfeeding Week, and notice that I said World Breastfeeding Week, so it's not just about St. Kitts and Nevis. It's a global campaign that takes part in the world through 1st of August to the 7th of August. And it's to raise awareness and to provide education for breastfeeding. They take various themes each year and engage the public with the various themes. So the theme for this year is Closing the Gap, Breastfeeding Support for All. So that's going to be our theme for this year, Closing the Gap, Breastfeeding Support for All. And it sounds very general. Some people don't feel supported while they're breastfeeding.
Well, we're going to have quite a detailed conversation because I got my views on that. But it's for you to make your presentation and then we, pick up on the other end. And at some point, we'll open the lines for interaction with the public. But in the meantime, it's your presentation.
All right. So when we look at support, support for a breastfeeding mom could come in various ways. So I'd like to start with the dads. Sometimes people think, well, what can men do? Mommy's carrying the baby for 9 months. The baby comes. Mommy has to feed the baby. Mommy has to hold the baby. Mommy needs to bathe the baby, etc. But when it comes to men, there's one aspect that men can take part in just off the bat. And that is feeding the baby. And we don't think about it because we think mommy has the breast.
Not breastfeeding the baby.
Not breastfeeding the baby. I said feeding the baby. All right. So mom does the breastfeeding, but there's a process called expressing breast milk, which they teach the moms at maternity ward. So you can manually express your breast milk using your hand, and you can also use a breast pump. Well, however you choose to express this breast milk, then daddy can actually feed the baby using a cup or spoon. And they're taught to do this on the maternity ward at JNF.
Expressing, is it the same as extracting?
Extracting, expressing, just removing the milk from the breast.
Okay.
Yes. So it gets into a clean storage container, and daddy and mommy is taught how to feed the baby using a cup or spoon at JNF Hospital or at the Alexandra Hospital in Nevis. This is a federation event. It's not just with St. Kitts. We're just representing from the breastfeeding committee.
Yes, okay.
All right, so that's a way that daddies can support. So daddy can feel involved in the process of feeding the baby. So we have the breast milk. Mommy could be resting or taking care of something else while daddy is actually feeding the baby. So that's one of the ways that the dads can take part.
Back in the day, and I don't want to sound like a caveman, I don't think that was something that we entertained. Not many women, as far as I can recall, back then stored the milk for the purpose. As a matter of fact, we didn't have any better means of preserving it in terms of refrigeration. But in modern day, this is an approach that's encouraged.
Yes,
all mothers. Do we see that involvement of the fathers across the spectrum? There's education for that?
Yes. Part of our...
and you are?
Sorry. Sister Brownbill, BFHI coordinator for JNF Hospital.
And what is BFHI?
BFHI stands for Baby Friendly Hospital Initiative.
There we go.
Okay. My role as the breastfeeding coordinator is to ensure that part of the role is to ensure that all patients are educated on breastfeeding. And the process begins before admission to the maternity unit. So once a mother finds out that she's pregnant, whether she uses private maternal services or government maternal services, she's educated on breastfeeding. And part of that education in breastfeeding should include what to expect when you are at the hospital. So one of our practices at the hospital that we currently do is that we have teaching educational sessions where we encourage fathers also to take part. And once these fathers are present, they are educated as well on breastfeeding, the different positions, hand expression, storage of breast milk, burping the baby.
Hand expression?
Yes, hand expression when you express the breast milk using your hand.
The expression, sorry,
Yes.
extraction, okay.
Yes. So mothers and fathers are taught how to do this and how to store these breast milk, how to feed the baby with the express breast milk. And this is, they get this education prior to admission, while they're on the maternity ward and before being discharged from the hospital.
I hope tons of persons out there within the sound and those who can view us can hear this, because there's been, I won't say stigma, but we have, as a people, those who've migrated, have adopted certain modalities in terms of breastfeeding the children based on the education they would have gotten out there and what was frowned upon by certain societies when it came to breastfeeding. So this is fundamentally a very, very important thing in terms of that connection, that health connection within the mother and the baby.
Yes.
Correct.
And one of the reasons, too, why we encourage breastfeeding so strongly is that we trying to curb some of our common health diseases that we see, like diabetes, obesity, and so forth. And research have shown that breastfed babies are less likely to develop these conditions. So we are trying to get a healthier adult by starting off with breastfeeding.
As we used to back in the day?
Yes.
Okay. And this all ties into nutrition.
It
Yes.
does tie into nutrition.
Fundamentally nutrition.
People don't think about it, but when you think about it, the breast milk is the baby's food. It's the baby's first food. Actually, we encourage it to be the baby's first 6 months of food and nothing else. Just the breast milk, because the breast milk has in all the components that the baby needs. And so we're saying, feed the baby. It comes in the right packaging. The breast is there. It comes at the right temperature. You don't need to warm it. It comes already environmentally safe. And all you had to do is readily available. Take out the breast and feed the baby.
The most natural, healthy process. As a matter of fact,
Natural, healthy process.
there were people who were aware of that fundamental need to breastfeed. And sometimes your mom would find herself in some public areas and would just open in public, and she would be ridiculed, etc. But it's a societal issue that we would have adopted by listening to others who have certain cultural norms. But I recall in growing up, it was the most natural thing to see. And it's the most wonderful, and it's the most healthy.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned that a baby is recommended at least for 6 months.
The first 6 months.
The first
of
6
life.
months.
Yes.
What of those who don't breastfeed but bring in, say, something like Cerelac, which is a form of artificial milk, whatever? I don't know if it's Cerelac, but those who
The
give
formulas.
them cow milk, and stuff like that. What do you say to those parents?
Well, so there's a challenge in terms of some people feel the need to formula feed instead of breastfeeding. And there's some people where it's actually necessary for them to formula feed. We don't shame formula feeding in any way, shape, or form, but formula feeding requires education, just like breastfeeding. Persons need to know what is the correct quantity. Can you read the label properly off of the can that you're going to feed that baby from? And then mixing that formula correctly so that the baby does not underfeed or the baby does not overfeed. Some of the babies eat formula and then they notice that the baby is allergic to something that is in the component for the meals. So it requires some education. And then as we educate moms, they can get a better idea. So for example, this is a common one, as Brombill can tell you. I don't want to breastfeed, I don't want a long breast, right? And so if the mommy insists that she's not going to breastfeed, the baby has to eat. So we take the time to educate them on formula feeding.
So there's a substitute.
There is, but we ask mothers to consider the natural process of how life was and is, and that would be breast milk. But if there's a medical indication, the doctor will prescribe the formula, and that's how it's done now at JNF. The doctor prescribes formula. It's not just given. And then outside of that, if mommy insists that she's not going to breastfeed for any particular reason, it's just her freedom of choice, then we educate on how to prepare the formula so that that baby can correctly be fed.
And we also get the pediatrician involved so that she can make a wise decision in terms of choosing the appropriate feed for the baby. Because we have some mothers who might not want to breastfeed because there are what we call myths. They think that if they breastfeed, the breast is going to get long and so
That is what you mentioned.
Yes. There are sometimes that's the reason they would give, that they don't want to breastfeed. So other options that we would do for a mom like that, we could educate her and tell her about the other options, like expressing your breast milk and feeding the baby from a cup, spoon, or a syringe. Those are options that we also give. But if we give her all those options and all those education, and she still insists that that is not an option she would like to take,
she don't want long breasts.
Yes,
She wants skipping ropes.
then we will get the pediatrician involved, and the pediatrician will advise those parents, the mother and or father, as to what is the best option, feeding option for that baby. Because sometimes when you have to formula feed, some person just go and look any old formula, but there are actually certain things you're supposed to take into consideration. So the pediatrician is usually the one who will go through those criterions with you to let you know, okay, your baby will require such, and they will tell you if this is a baby that you will have to feed, whether every 3 hours, every 2 hours, or on demand, or so forth. So that's where the pediatrician comes in that part. So it's usually prescribed, even if the mom has the choice to choose, we still get the pediatrician involved to ensure that that baby will be properly fed.
Okay. We can learn so much more from the animals around us. We've seen what we call farm animals, cattle, goat, sheep, and they breastfeed for what's the period, around 6 months, maybe more?
Yes, we encourage all of our mothers to do exclusive breastfeeding. Exclusive breastfeeding means nothing else but breast milk for the first 6 months of life. So after 6 months, that's when you start introducing other foods, and we usually don't encourage formula even after the 6 months. We tell you go to your pot foods like your mashed vegetables and your mashed fruits and so forth.
So what of those who find themselves giving their children, maybe just beyond that period or even during the period, canned milk? Evaporated, even so, milk. They give them milk, or in some cases, they feed them animal milk.
Okay, so that happens. Milk sounds like the simplified version, because sometimes it's a 2 or 3 month old getting cornmeal, and the bellies can't process it. The little tummies can't.
Actually, for a reason, because I've seen it done. I think it makes no sense. As a matter of fact, I have this thing that cows breastfeed their young ones. So does goats and sheep. Why do humans want to be drinking animal milk? Why do we drink cow milk?
So again, it comes back to that context where some people feel like, one, they don't have a choice. And there are some mothers who have medical situations where they have to be provided formula. And some of these formulas, they might be soy milk based, they might be rice milk based, or they might be cow milk based, right? And so that comes back to the education. And also it comes to trying the baby on those, because you have to see which the baby would take to it, right? Mm-hmm. So there are instances where it is necessary. Not exactly promoted. One of the biggest things is allergies. It's not just milk. It could be nuts, any form of nuts. Some children, it's eggs. It depends. So children, as they go along, even when it comes to complementary feeding, as we call it, like Nurse Brumbill just referred to, which is introducing food from the family pot now, right? So they're eating anything after 6 months. They start eating whatever the family is eating in a softer form. We tend to see what the baby's tummy can manage and what they may or may not be allergic to. So that's one of the greatest challenges when it comes to the milk factor. Can your body handle it? Can the baby's tummy handle it? But like I said, one of the biggest things that we look at is the cereals, because some people tend to think, oh, the baby's crying, so the baby didn't get enough, and so the baby needs more to eat. And so they give them the adult form cereal. So we're not even talking anymore about these formula formulated cereals. We're talking about adult farm cereals, so the oats and the cornmeal and those type of things. And then Nurse Bromwell is here from JNF. They end up in the emergency room.
Okay. The young mothers, are they encouraged to visit the clinics up to what period after the baby's born? 6 months for monitoring, and how long are they required or encouraged to come back to the clinic with the young babies?
Okay. So after you get your baby and you are leaving the hospital, you're usually asked to visit the health center the following day. So if you are
the very
next day. So if you're leaving on a Monday, we will tell you to visit the health center on the Tuesday. Most times, not all the times, the health center is notified that there will be this discharge, especially if it's a baby that will need close monitoring. We will notify the health center that this mommy is being discharged and she's going to need close follow-up. So we actually ask them to go the following day. When they reach to the health center, the nurses at the health center are the ones who will tell them when to return again with the baby.
Okay.
But there is a follow-up clinic with the pediatricians, where the pediatricians, that's usually done like 4 to 6 weeks, where the pediatrician will bring in the baby,
assessment,
assess the baby to make sure that the baby is growing the way how the baby is supposed to be growing, and so forth. The baby are meeting the necessary milestones. So, and the baby is still feeding the way that the baby should, and so forth. One of the things that we also do is we let our mothers know where they can get help, breastfeeding help. And this is at the hospital. They can come back to the hospital at the maternity ward for assistance if necessary. They can use the community health centers. They can use the outskirt hospitals like Paxson Hospital, Mary Charles Hospital. And we also have a contact list where we give them a card with different numbers on it, mostly nurses.
Emergencies?
Yes.
Support.
Support. Not,
okay.
Not emergencies, but support. If they're having any issues with breastfeeding, these are the persons they can call. They have
in the community?
Yes, they have different communities, and they have the ways in which the person can be contacted, whether it's via WhatsApp, via direct calls, cell calls, and so forth. So we try as much as possible to assist them with the necessary support that they need. I myself has done lots of support. I personally prefer WhatsApp. I prefer video WhatsApp. And one of my reasons why I prefer the video WhatsApp is because I can actually see the mom as she breastfeed. Sometimes it's something as simple as how you're holding the baby. It might be she's not holding the baby correctly. And, you know, you could actually see these things while you're doing your video call and so forth, and you can assist. Sometimes we go to their home if they live close enough. We go to their home. Sometimes they come back to the unit. We take some time with them and assist them and so forth.
Okay. I see you brought some diagrams with you, but we do have to pause now to on our sponsors. When we get back, we can, you know, speak to what these represent if they're part of the presentation. So take us downtown, Mrs. Sargent, and we'll be back.
Shopping with TDC just got much easier. Here's how. Log on to shoptdcgroup.com. Shop at your convenience at any time, from anywhere, with your smartphone, tablet, or computer. With our safe and secure payment checkout, you choose the option to pick up in-store or have your goods delivered right to your door. It's that easy. Shop tdcgroup.com, your one-stop online store.
Shop anywhere, shop anytime, same quality you love. Now online. Shop
www.shoptdcgroup.com.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow! Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
Listeners, we're logged on to NFM 98.9, another presentation of Voices. And we have with us in the studio this morning Sister Brownbill and Sherry Ann Weaver. And we're here to discuss matters relating to Breastfeeding Week, which starts from the 1st to 7th of August. But they're sharing information with the public at large, and I think we have a lot to learn from them. So I normally turn over the mic to folks who know better, and you continue presentation. Right? I was speaking about the diagrams board, if you want to speak to that, or Ms. Brombill.
Okay, I first wanted to finish about the support. Yes. I only mentioned St. Kitts, but we also have support in Nevis, and these are also on the card, because here in St. Kitts, we get patients from Nevis, not only St. Kitts. Okay. So when we give these cards, they're for both our patients in St. Kitts and our patients in Nevis. So they have contact information for that. We also use, well, some of the things that we have here that we use. This is our booklet that we use, preparing for the arrival and delivery of your baby, maternity guide. You receive that at the JNF hospital when you come for booking to get your baby. It tells you everything you need to know from the beginning of pregnancy to the follow-up visit up until your 6 weeks postnatal visit after you get the baby. We also have the breastfeeding policy that we also share with all of our staff, and we also share this policy with our patients. So they know exactly what our policy is in regards to breastfeeding. We also have an easy guide to breastfeeding. We usually use this for our antenatal patients. Antenatal means before they deliver. And this usually tells them everything they need to know about breastfeeding, the different positions and so forth, and the nutrition of breastfeeding. And in regards to the nutrition of breastfeeding, some of the concerns that we get from parents is that some parents feel that when they give the baby breast milk, it's not enough because it's basically water. So one of the things that I need to clear is this misinformation, because breast milk is very much more than water. It has all the protein the baby needs. Protein helps to build muscles. It's necessary for growth. It has calcium. It has carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is what we use to get our energies. And it also has fats, which will help the baby to gain the necessary fat that the baby needs, so you don't have too much fat. And And also it has all the other necessary nutrients inside of it
To build
that
their
the baby
immune
needs.
system.
And to help build their brain, yes, builds their immune system, it helps build their brain and so forth. So it's actually well compact, and we have different milk. We have the fore milk, the hind milk, and it's like that
The
for a
fore
reason.
milk and the hind milk.
Yes, the fore milk is like when you're just starting. It's the milk that you're gonna get the antibodies, those things that help you fight off infections and so. And then later on, when as the baby continues to suck, you start getting the hind milk, which is packed with the fats and the nutrient, all the healthy proteins and nutrients that the baby need to help the baby to grow. And sometimes some mothers might stop the feeding before you actually have the hind milk coming in, so the baby doesn't get all of the necessary fat and nutrients that the baby need. So that is one of the reasons why we encourage our on-demand feeding. Our on-demand feeding is feeding for as long as the baby wants, however long the baby wants it for. And the baby usually tells you when the baby is finished feeding. So sometimes we have mothers who baby might be sucking and the baby pause, and the mom might say, well, baby, stop. So the baby finish feeding, and they will remove the baby from the breast. When the baby is complete, when the baby has complete a feed, the baby will actually let go of the breast. Sometimes the baby pauses in between feeds because, you know, they're small, their muscles are not fully strong as yet and not fully developed as yet, and they might be sucking, they get tired, so they pause in between. And sometimes that is mistaken as a complete feed, but it's not.
So as long as they're holding on to the breast, they're still feeding.
Yes.
You've had videos of them releasing the breast. I'm done.
Yes, we actually sometimes use that for our teaching, and we also use to tell them exactly how a properly latched baby is to the breast. So we have videos and so forth that we use to show them these things.
These are all part of the presentation. What about the literature that you have there? They get to go home with that? Or?
Yes, this booklet, they actually get to go home with this booklet. It actually has how to store your milk, what to expect when you're going to the delivery room, the signs of labor. One of the practices that we do as part of our breastfeeding policy is skin to skin. So as soon as the baby is born, within the first hour of life, the baby is placed on the mommy's chest for at least 90 minutes. We do here. The recommendation is at least an hour, but we do it for 90 minutes. So our babies are on skin to skin. Skin to skin meaning no clothes.
Okay.
No clothes on the mommy, no clothes on the baby. You put the baby on the skin and then you cover the baby. And within that first hour, the baby is allowed to breastfeed. And during that breastfeeding, that's the first feed that the baby will get, which is the colostrum. The colostrum is the first milk, so which is necessary for building immunity and so forth. So
okay, I would have heard that the first milk that they produce, the mother, is to actually clear the lungs of the baby. I heard that, whatever it is. And so I think somebody say there's a bit of an odor, so they throw that away, but it's really needed for the baby, clear the lungs or whatever. Anything on that?
Not necessarily to clear the lungs, but it is necessary because it contains what the baby needs to build the immune system. That milk usually lasts for the first 2 to 3 days. So the baby, we encourage the mothers to allow the baby to suckle, to feed as often as necessary.
In that 3-day period?
Yes.
Or doing that. Okay, this may be a different topic, but you mentioned something that piqued my interest. You encourage the bonding skin to skin.
Skin to skin, yeah.
What do you say of those in some cultures who, when they get home, they put the baby in a different room? They're sleeping in one room. The baby have their own baby room, sleeping elsewhere separately. There's no skin to skin bonding. We don't do that in our culture.
Yeah.
But what is it to that practice?
Well, one of the reasons why we encourage skin to skin and rooming in is because it stimulates something for the mommy, And this stimulation causes a chemical in the brain to get released, which helps with producing breast milk. So that is one of our main reasons why we encourage skin to skin and womaning. It stimulates, you want that mental chemical from the brain to be released, which will help in the milk production.
And that's as a result of bonding skin to skin?
Yes. Just seeing the baby and hearing the baby when the baby cry.
And holding your baby, but
Yes.
you lock them away. When you say you, that particular culture has a room prepared for the baby when they get from the hospital. That's the baby will be stay over there. I'm over here. I don't get it.
Well, we don't practice that here. We don't encourage.
I don't encourage it.
No.
Because we seem to want to adopt other modalities that don't really work, but it seems to be fashionable.
Well, if
Makes
you
sense?
notice at JNF, the cots are right next to mommy, unless the baby has to be in the neonatal unit. The cots are right next to mommy, so mommy can see the baby can
interact,
move
hear
around.
the mommy's voice.
Yeah.
So in the
And not just mommy, daddy too, because when daddy comes, sometimes there are instances I've been up there and daddy starts talking and you see the movement going
Reaction.
on. Yeah. So not just mommy, daddy too. Daddies have a strong effect, and I don't think we promote it enough for the dads. But they have a very strong effect on their babies. And Nurse Brumbill didn't mention it, but with skin to skin, if mom has to have a C-section and somebody else needs to do the skin to skin, or if there's an emergency and mom needs somebody else to do the skin to skin,
father should be
a father can do. She
most-
can say who can do it. The mom will tell in advance who can do it.
but the father should be the most appropriate.
Father, yes. And if not father, maybe a grandmother or a grandfather, but father, we prefer
Because
father.
that voicing is also is a connection.
Yes.
That there are those who believe that even within the womb, the child can hear and relate to that.
Yeah.
You know.
And I must say, Brumbill is here too. I don't know if you want to speak on this a little bit more, but since we became baby friendly in 2022,
Yes.
I think even before that, when we started working towards becoming baby friendly, the men really started coming on board, and now they're really on board. Like, you need to feed the baby. The baby needs the breast milk, and they come and they support them. And I stopped off at how daddies can support, but one of the other simple ways that the daddies can support, and we see them supporting now with education, is a simple massage. And the simple massages, they can actually help to release the breast milk, because when mommies relax, the breast milk can flow.
When that tension is gone.
Yes. So gentlemen out there listening, just a simple massage, just a simple touch can help. That can help the breast milk to release too, so mommy can be able to feed the baby.
Okay. Have you seen any episodes of depression with a young mom? That's Brumbill? Whatever it calls, but
we've had patients who experience it. It's not that often we see it. It's not that often we see it, but we do have mothers who experience depression. And those mothers, we try to get them as much support as possible. We have counselors at the hospital who, if we recognize any signs that this is a mom who may lead into, we start with baby blues, because that's a natural feeling, and we need mothers to know that it's normal to get some blues when you get a baby. We usually only get very concerned if it goes over 2 weeks, or if you actually start having ideas of hurting yourself or hurting the baby. But it's natural for the first couple of days to get a little bit of baby blues. So
in some cases.
Yes. So it's,
but not in all cases.
It can happen
You
to
say it's natural
any.
for
It's
the-
natural. It's
natural.
natural. It
Okay.
can happen to anybody. And
So there's a label for it, not depression, but baby blues?
baby blues.
Okay.
That's what we call it for the first couple of days, baby blues. And
Until it presents as something
yes,
else.
until
Okay.
it presents as where you're actually getting thoughts to hurt yourself or hurt the baby, and you can't sleep much, you're not eating, then that leads into something else. But it's normal for you to have a little bit of baby blues after a baby. And that is why it's so important to
have
ensure that
that-
you have support.
That support,
good
especially
support.
from the father.
Yes. It's very important, and daddies have a major role to play in regards to that, because sometimes they are the one who recognize it before the mom. They recognize that something is wrong. Yes.
Shifts.
So it's very, and when we do our teachings, we actually point out this. Once fathers are present, we actually point out this to them, because usually they are the ones who first recognize that something is wrong.
Are there any foods that you would recommend that feeding mothers do not use? Or certain social habits they should not indulge in while they're breastfeeding?
Well, in regards to foods, once ago we used to have a whole list of foods that we used to tell moms not to eat. But from our recent training, we have learned that there are no specific foods that we tell mothers to keep from. We just tell them, because foods really is according to culture. Because one of the things that I could remember that we used to say was that, you stay away from pepper, and you try not to eat nothing too spicy. But in other cultures, they actually encourage you to eat pepper stuff. So we learned that it's all cultural. So the only thing that we encourage our mothers to stay away from is alcohol and smoking.
Okay.
And we just tell them, to stay away from the fast foods, eat a more healthy, balanced diet. Balanced diet mean something from the 7 food groups. You try to incorporate that in your diet.
I would like to have a conversation with this young lady, Michelle Weaver, on nutrition as it relates to what our children are fed in terms of what we put in their lunch bags. That's later on when they develop going to school. Their lunch bag are packed with poisons. The box drinks and all the Concords and all the different things. I would like to have you in at some point to discuss that, because I have very strong feelings about that. Because we're asking, well, how come they get cancer? How come? Is what you feed your kids.
Yeah.
It's what's up there that we're not aware of.
Yeah.
And we feed them, we think it's the norm. Yeah. All that sugar packed into their lunch bag, all that box drink and this and that, is unhealthy. So whenever you want to come back and deal with that, we're talking about breastfeeding week, and that is would be of the from the 1st of August to the 7th. So between now and then, what happens in terms of the outreach?
All right, so for Breastfeeding Week, we have some activities that's going to encompass the week, but we're actually pushing it for the month in St. Kitts and Nevis. Yeah.
Okay.
We want to see how much we can achieve with educating and creating awareness for the general public and for supporting our breastfeeding moms. All right, so on the 1st, we should have the opening of Breastfeeding Week. That's done normally via the media. So we're going to have that in a video form. And then from the 1st to the 31st of August, we're going to be showcasing locally produced material, video material. This will be done through Citycom production. So this is at the ferry terminals and some of those fast food eating places.
Okay.
We hope to have it at possibly at the hospital, playing in those waiting areas, and possibly at the health centers that can facilitate, that has the ability to facilitate. And this will be both in St. Kitts and Nevis. Again, remembering that all the activities that we're doing is within St. Kitts and Nevis.
And Nevis, the
we're
federation.
doing it as a federation. Yes, please. Then August 12th is for Nevis, and August 16th is for St. Kitts. We have an event that we've been doing called Thank a Nursing Mom. And so we have 17 health centers within the federation, and this is where we get the health centers to recommend a mom that has been exclusively breastfeeding her baby for 6 months, because they would have that on record. So they need to select that mom, and that mom is recognized at an event that we have called Thank a Nursing Mom. The mom normally receives a plaque award, and then we have a rotation plaque that is kept at the health centers where that mom's name for that year is placed every year. So that will take place on the 12th in Nevis and the 16th in St. Kitts. We already have our submissions of names. So mommies who are out there who are breastfeeding, keep doing a great job. You may be selected for your health center. August the 9th, in both St. Kitts and Nevis, we're going to have something called Stop and Chat. So we're going to be in the general public, having conversations with you, getting to know what information you know, getting your feedback. We want to know from you what you think, how you feel about breastfeeding. And that gives us a little bit of education on how the general public feels, what they think, and it gives us an opportunity also to educate them and share with them. So that will be on the 9th and in St. Kitts and Nevis, in Bastia, and in Charlestown. And then on September the 24th to the 26th, so we jump down into September a little bit, and that date may or may not change, but we have an education session, a 21-hour education session for the nurses and other medical staff that needs to be trained in the 21 hours for Baby Friendly Hospital Initiative. Now, Baby Friendly Hospital Initiative was a process. We received our certification in 2022, and it is a certification that we are reassessed for every 5 years.
Every 5 years?
Yes.
Okay.
And it was not something done with us alone. Pan American Health Organization, along with UNICEF and the others, they would have flown in a team, and they have to come and assess the hospital and make sure that we're up to standard.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we have to keep our staff up to standard. And so the nurses that have not been trained as yet, we will have a session for them. On
Okay.
the 21-hour training. And so that's what we have for Breastfeeding Week and Month, thereby. But we want the conversation to continue. So if you ever have questions or concerns, we want you to be able to go to your health center, take a pass at the maternity ward. You can ask a question, especially if you're newly pregnant, thinking on becoming pregnant. The information is out there, so you can come. We have something called antenatal workshop also that we do. We just completed one in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're hoping to have one more maybe later this year. Where again, this was the first year where we included the gynecologist, where they would have selected mothers to attend to. So these are the pregnant women who they feel like needs that extra bit of nurturing and education. And so the health centers would send their list, and this year, like I said, was the first time we had the gynecologist who sent their list. And so that was a really good session, so we're hoping to have another one later on this year.
Let's pause once again to give credit to sponsors. And when we return, I have a question for you both.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow! Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
Chip, chip, chip. We wanna get chip, chip, chip.
Give your little smartie the perfect smart start for their future with CHIP, the child investment plan from TDC Financial Services. Invest in your child's next step, and we know what's next is always changing.
Chip, chip, chip. We wanna get chip, chip, chip.
CHIP is a long-term plan with no minimum deposit, no monthly commitment, and you're guaranteed a special high interest rate per annum.
I want chip. I want chip too.
Visit TDC Financial Services today and get CHIP, the child investment plan, providing the best head start for every child.
Chip, chip, chip. We wanna get chip, chip, chip.
Magnum, my brand. Everybody put your Magnum in the air now. From you a drink Magnum, make me see. Take charge of things now your place now. From the river to the beach to the street. Hot Magnum when me have in a me hand there. Give her a sip and she tell me sweet. Look for me watch for your quick time check. Yeah, yeah. Right now a Magnum a for your beat. Enjoy yourself every day of the week with a Magnum. My life I forget sweeter. Must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink responsibly.
I said that you're not to
At 11:59, we're back in the studios of Win FM 98.9, another presentation of Voices. And we have with us this morning a studio Sister Bromwell from BFHI, that's Baby Friendly
Hospital Initiative.
Okay. And Miss Sherry Ann Weaver, Nutrition Officer. And we're here to, we have been discussing the upcoming breastfeeding week of, and it's international, right?
International.
World Breastfeeding Week, and the dates are from the 1st to the 7th of August. But you want a whole month.
Well, I mean, why not?
Why not?
That's our tailoring to the world's component.
There you go. Right? We have roughly 10 minutes before the midday newscast, so as much as you can pack in, ladies, the mic is yours.
Well, we
talked... I had a question for you. Midwifery.
For nurse.
Right. It used to be a part of the culture where midwives would go to the homes of pregnant women and birthing kids there. And so that information, that education would be required there. Is that still encouraged, or everyone is required to come to JNF?
Everyone is required now to come to JNF Hospital.
So here's my question now. Sandy Pointers, who boast about being Sandy Pointers, having to come to Bastia to give birth in JNF, are the Sandy Pointers? That's just me, right? Because we're proud to be Sandy Pointers, but if you have to be born in Bastia, can you claim to be Sandy Pointers? That's my little thing. Okay, the rest is yours.
Thank you for the giggle.
There you go.
We talked a lot about feeding the babies, but generally we didn't talk a lot about the babies themselves. And when it comes to babies and feedings, the babies will tell you. However, as a society, we normally wait for the last cue. We call them feeding cues. We normally wait for the last cue to determine that the baby needs to be fed. So we wait until they're crying, right? And by the time they're crying, the crying is... Have you ever seen a baby cry when they're hungry? It's literally like an angry cry.
I got that phrase from you last week or 2 weeks ago. Hungry?
Yeah, it's hangry. It's
you're
an
angry
angry cry.
And you're hungry.
Yes. It's literally like, look, I've been trying to tell you, you're not listening to me.
And that's exactly what I normally tell my patients. I usually tell my patients, by the point the baby is crying, the baby is actually saying, I tell you you're hungry and you ain't listen to me, so now I'm upset. So, I'm upset.
Hungry.
So the hunger cues. So let's go through some of the hunger cues that you would see from the baby. Sometimes the babies have their hand in their mouth. It might be the whole little fist. It might just be some little fingers, but they might have their hand in the mouth. No, that is not to be mistaken for babies who are teething.
Itchy gums.
They might be teething, and so you look out for that. But you know that at that time. We're talking about newborns up to 6 months. So these babies might have their hand in the mouth. They might be turning from side to side, and we call it rooting. So they're turning from side to side. Maybe they're moving their legs in the process. Some of those babies might look like they're stretching. So moms and dads, please pay attention. That might be a sleepy situation. I just woke up. But that might also be a situation of I need something to eat. And then they might have their hand over their mouth or in their face. And then you have the crying comes in stages, right? So you have the crying. And then you have the crying with the agitated movement. And then you have the crying where the baby just starts to turn a little burgundy reddish. Normally for the darker skins baby or for the lighter skins baby, they get really red in the face, like, look. So those cryings come in phases. So by the first one, you see the movement, you see the hand in the mouth. Take stock, and it's okay, take out the breast. In regards to being a little bit more...
Regardless of where you are.
Irregardless of where you are.
Okay, it's important.
And so the value...
So don't wait until you get home because you're in the public and the baby's hungry.
Exactly.
And you don't want to, irregardless of where you are, you have to respect it. You're feeding your baby. Okay.
And it's the baby's right to be fed. Now, with that being said, there are some people who like to be covered. They like to be respected.
And you have that covering that you can use.
And we're not asking you to just whip out your breasts in the street and just have all the breasts hanging out and the baby's hanging off of the nipple, which is another story which I'm going to ask Sister to talk on, the proper technique of latching the baby so that you don't get sore nipples, etc. But you can actually use the little rag and put it over
Over
the
that
breast
section.
if you don't want your breast to be seen, and that's common courtesy for some people.
Modesty, respect that.
Modesty. You can actually use the longer cloth and drape it. Some people don't like the baby to be seen when they are feeding
Breastfeeding.
them. So you can drape that over so that the baby can still breathe effectively, but the baby is covered. But irrespective of where you are, and when it's time for the baby to eat, the baby should be able to eat. Yeah. But nurse, can you talk about the proper latching techniques, please?
Okay, in regards to the proper latching techniques, you have to make sure that you have the position of the baby down pack. If you don't have the positioning of the baby down pack, you could lead into getting sore nipples. And
because
this
the baby's latched
yes,
on and the weight is...
And I'll explain why you actually end up with sore nipples. Okay, so the correct positioning of the baby, regardless of what position you use, because there are different positions. You can use sitting position where you just cradle the baby and feed.
Arms, yeah.
There's a position we call a football hold, where you have the baby head in the palm of your hand, and the baby feet is more like under your arm, facing your back.
Okay.
All right, there's that position, and there's also...
Is that uncommon?
No, we see that quite often. We more find that with mothers who have twins, or mothers who may have had a cesarean section because they don't want the baby across hurting the wound, or sometimes women with large breasts, they tend to feel more comfortable feeding that way. So we see that quite often. Another position we see quite often is the sideline position, where the mothers lie down and feed the baby. Now, in hospital, we usually use that mostly for our mothers who would have had a cesarean section, because for the first couple of hours,
it's difficult, but you don't recommend that.
But we don't recommend that you do that
baby.
because it's when you are breastfeeding, a hormone is released that tends to make you sleepy. It makes you relax. So your first option is to go to sleep.
Okay.
And there are instances where you might fall asleep, you could suffocate the baby with your breast, you could roll on the baby and so forth.
Okay.
So we don't necessarily
encourage
it.
But if that happens, you monitor.
Yes, but when we have mothers who do it, we monitor them very closely so that doesn't happen.
Okay.
And regardless of what position you use, there are some points you must remember. Now, the points are the baby should be facing the breast, with the nose and the mouth at the position of the nipple. The reason for that, we don't want you to be bending over,
slouching,
or taking what we call taking the breast to the baby. The baby should be brought to the breast. The other thing is that the ear, shoulder, and hip should be in a straight line. And how you know that? You can't have the baby swaddled tightly in a blanket. The blanket has to be loose because you have to be able to see that the ear, the shoulder, and the hip is in a straight line, right? And the baby is at the height of the breast. The baby mouth must be open wide. The reason why you want the mouth to be open wide, because if the mouth is not open wide, the areola, which is the dark area around the breast, will not be able to go inside the baby mouth properly. And you want that to the back of the throat. If the baby mouth is not open wide, it will just go barely
the nipple
into the and it will be on the hard palate of the mouth. Yes.
We'll be going
and that will actually, when you rub together it actually causes friction, and that is how your nipples get sore. So we don't want that. We want it on the softer area.
That would discourage breastfeeding then, because it's sore. But that posturing causes the gumming, and you get this.
And it also causes other problems too, because once you're not positioning the baby properly or attaching the baby properly to the breast, you can end up with engorgement and so forth, which could lead to other complications such as mastitis, where you had to do surgery to drain ducts in the breast because the breast not emptying properly. So in order to prevent all of those complications, it's just to ensure that you have the correct attachment and the correct positioning for breastfeeding. And you are taught this before you leave hospital. So one of our criteria for discharge, You must be
able
able
to
to
demonstrate.
feed effectively.
Okay.
Yes.
We are 11:59, about to break for the WINNFM's midday newscast, and time does fly when you're having fun. Are you presenting this kind of qualitative information? I would invite you back as soon as possible to deal with such topics.
Okay.
Health, nutrition, etc., especially for the babies and young mothers, because there are a lot of misconceptions out there. And what you're doing is so fundamentally proper. We make comparisons to what we see overseas in terms of breastfeeding and the stigmas, to a certain extent, attached to it. So I'm very happy for this information, and I believe the folks of our federation, both sides, would be very grateful to you. We do have to pause at this point in time to present the WINNFM's Midday Newscast. Please, as soon as possible, come back and let's have a similar or continue this conversation.
Well,
right?
I want to say thank you really quickly to WINNFM for having us on today so that we could share this information.
I wish I could see a smile when you're saying that.
I am smiling.
No, they could see.
Oh, they could see. I am smiling. Hi, thank you, WINNFM. Thank you so much for having us on. It's nice to have a platform where we can come and share. Information is out there. People aren't receiving the information effectively for whatever reason. So thank you so much, and we pray that you all may get much more sponsors that you need so you could have more enlightening programs.
There you go. Let the church say amen.
Amen.
Right? Are we ready, Trent? Okay, we now pause to present WINNFM's Midday Newscast, and we will continue on our discussion on the other side.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, and Caribbean.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoyed the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Delisle Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
With the WINNFM Midday News, I am Kevon Brown.
And I am Yulana Weeks.
Our top stories.
St. Kitts and Nevis's health sector bolsters apparatus in preparation for hurricane impact.
St. Kitts Nevis breaks ground on 2 million gallon per day desalination plant.
Officers of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force District B receive recognition.
Politician injured and wife reportedly killed in St. Martin. Sectors join hands to condemn increasing gun violence in Anguilla. Internationally, Israeli presence in Palestinian territories is illegal and must end, the World Court has said.
Now the details.
The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, conducted pre-season preparedness exercises and discussions, but the onslaught by Hurricane Beryl on neighboring islands forced the stakeholders to tighten up measures across various sectors in St. Kitts and Nevis. The health of the nation was taken into consideration as disaster emergency stakeholders continued their readiness for a hyperactive 2024 Atlantic hurricane season. During a July 17 engagement with the press, NEMA's coordinator Abdias Samuel explained that the health sector is as prepared as it could be for a major hurricane impact, including healthcare for patients who are receiving specialized treatment like dialysis and chemotherapy.
We have excellent partnership with PAHO in particular, where we can get PAHO to respond in country. We have a PAHO rep here in St. Kitts, but the Ministry of Health has indicated that they have a robust system that will be able to do that, support that response. In the event that they don't have that, we will then use our networks. They will also use their networks to be able to reach out to the regional and international community. And we have those partnerships with a number of NGOs that they can come in and provide that level of support to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
When asked about the medicine stock in preparation for the hurricane season, Samuel informed the press that the Ministry of Health has plans in place for medication supply and preservation.
I'm happy that you asked that because the PS just, in his reporting, he would have just indicated that PS Martin would have indicated all of that, and it's part of their plans in terms of the medication stock. It's not only for pressure, but there's a plan as well for insulin, and the insulin has to be refrigerated. Right, so there's a plan for that. And there are also contingencies plan. And these contingencies plans, if the main plan fails, then we revert to those contingencies to support. It's important to note that we have a great partnership with Global Support Development. They have resources that can give us major support. We also have that regional response mechanism whereby CDEMA will provide us with sufficient partners and donor groups that will be able to respond to the need. What we are seeing right now in Grenada and St. Vincent is an overwhelming response to that particular impact.
Samuel gave the assurance that the field hospitals in both St. Kitts and Nevis are ready to be set up in the event the main health facilities in the country are damaged or overwhelmed. The field hospitals were utilized during the heights of the COVID-19 pandemic and consist of more than 40 beds. Sanitation is important to public health. Mr. Samuel advised that there are organizations on hand to supply portable potties if it becomes necessary. Sanitation has been an issue in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Grenada in the aftermath of the hurricane. What are we doing about sanitation for ourselves in St. Kitts and Nevis as it relates to the need for portable potties? A WINNFM journalist questioned.
We do, that is in place. Again, I'm sorry that St. Vincent and the Grenadines were the first out the bat, but that has positioned us to be able to have that partnership with the different regional suppliers and partners who have those in stock. So there are agencies that we can lean to, and we can have those in St. Kitts in a short period of time.
Mr. Samuel gave the assurance that regional and international partners are on standby to assist the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis where necessary if disaster strikes.
So there are many partners in the international community that are willing to give us their support, and they have already pledged their support in the event of medical emergencies, communication emergencies, no matter what it is, logistics, transportation, if we have to evacuate people from Nevis to St. Kitts to Nevis. So all those arrangements are in place if we are overwhelmed nationally. The beauty about it is that we know where all these partners are. We have the networks. There's a tested and proven system for the regional response mechanism, which I applaud and endorse through CDEMA, that will get us these resources as we need them if we are affected or impacted.
To address water scarcity due to declining rainfall and climate change, the government of St. Kitts and Nevis has initiated the construction of a desalination plant. The plant, located at the C.A. Paul Southwell Industrial Site in Bastyr, will produce 2 million gallons of water daily. On July 17, 2024, government officials, including Prime Minister the Honourable Dr. Terence Drew and Minister responsible for Water, Conris Maynard, officially broke ground for the desalination plant. Jerry Moyes of Royal Utilities, the company constructing the plant, noted the government's efforts to address water supply challenges.
As we should appreciate this government for the work and the effort they are putting in to solve and resolve the infrastructure of this island nation, going where others have not, addressing these difficult issues, truly looking at the long-term picture and planning ahead, not only for today, but also for the future generations that will follow us.
Minister Maynard emphasized the government's goal of enhancing water sources and restoring a 24-hour supply of safe potable water.
We embark upon one of the other aspects of our water resilience plan. That is the construction of this 2 million gallon per day water tank. Water is a critical part of our survival. This government is sparing no effort and making all of the necessary investments to return the entire island of St. Kitts to 24-hour water service.
He reassured the public about the environmental and quality standards of the desalination process, saying that while desalination may be new to the Federation, many established places around the world depend solely on desalinated water. The science and environmental impact are well understood, and the government has been assured that the water quality from the desalination plant will be excellent. The desalination plant, undertaken by Royal Utilities and costing EC $50 million, is expected to be completed by June 2025. Testing and commissioning are planned for July 2025. Prime Minister the Honourable Dr. Terence Drew highlighted the necessity of this investment, linking it directly with the impacts of climate change.
When we speak about prioritizing and shifting resources into areas that are needed because of climate change, this is what I'm talking about. This is a $50 million plant just to deliver water, essential water, to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Earlier this year, on March 18, 2024, the government also broke ground on the construction of a solar-powered water desalination plant at Canada Estate. The plant is nearing completion and will produce approximately 76,000 gallons of water daily. The government continues to explore additional measures to ensure a reliable 24-hour potable water supply, including drilling more wells, constructing new storage reservoirs, expanding existing ones, and introducing modern technology to optimize water resource management.
District B of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force held its Divisional Awards ceremony for the second quarter of 2024. District B consists of 4 police stations, of which 1 person was recognized as Constable of Quarter 2 from each station. The awardees were number 465 Constable Richards, Day Bay Police Station, number 184 Constable Clark, Sandy Point Police Station, number 343 Constable Jones, Tabernacle Police Station, and number 107 Constable Diaz, Old Road Police Station. Number 107 Woman Constable Diaz was recognized as the most outstanding officer in Division B for the second quarter of 2024. Diaz was presented a day pass at a hotel of her choice, lunch with the divisional commander, 2 additional rest days, a certificate of recognition, and a trophy. According to a post-ceremony report by the police, Diaz Cote received well-deserved recognition for her exceptional performance and dedication to duty. Her hard work and commitment to the community have set a shining example for her colleagues. These rewards symbolize our deep appreciation for her outstanding service. Woman Constable Diaz's dedication not only ensures the safety and security of the public, but also inspires her colleagues to strive for excellence, unquote. The runners-up were presented fruit baskets, a coupon for 2 additional rest days, a certificate, and a trophy. Meanwhile, number 193 Constable Bartlett, Island Constable Henry, Traffic Warden Kelly, and Traffic Warden Watley received the special recognition for going beyond the call of duty. Constable Bartlett received a trophy, 2 additional rest days and a fruit basket, whilst Henry, Kelly and Watley received 1 additional rest day and a fruit basket. The awards ceremony was held at the Date Bay Police Station on Wednesday, July 17, 2024. During the ceremony, the head of District B, Jasper Carty, delivered a statistical report on crime in his district. He was pleased that District B had fewer crimes in the second quarter of the year than Districts A and C. Carty emphasized the importance of teamwork and encouraged the officers to remain committed to duty to ensure that crime stats are kept low in District B and the country by extension. Chair of the ceremony, Inspector Carl Grillo, spoke about the importance of customer service, highlighting that members of the public are customers of the police and that, as officers, they must serve the public by responding to and investigating all complaints and reports. Rio said that feedback is vital to ensure that victims of crimes are updated on matters. Inspector Grillo added that the civilians and the police must foster better collaborations to restore the confidence civilians once had in the police.
In regional news,
politician injured and wife reportedly killed in St. Martin. Sectors join hands to condemn increasing gun violence in Anguilla. Those reports and more from Carib Update.
In St. Martin, a politician was shot and his wife reportedly killed in an incident overnight that many there believed is politically motivated. Campaigning is on there for next month's general elections. Reports are that someone opened fire on Ualichi Movement for Change OMC leader Oliver Arndell and his wife and daughter while they were sitting in a vehicle. Multiple reports in St. Martin said Arndell's wife, Sabine, succumbed to her gunshot wounds. It was not immediately clear what happened to their daughter, but Arndell was taken for medical treatment and in his video postings Thursday appeared to be in stable condition. A video posted to social media shows Arndell in what appears to be an ambulance, saying they tried to kill him and that he holds every political party accountable for what he described as an attempt on his life.
This was an attempt on my life. Gunshot. I got shot in my back. I don't know what's going on with my wife. As yet, we don't know what's going on. See, Martin, this is serious. The ambulance people are doing a good job. This is serious. And I hold every political party accountable. Every single one of them accountable to attempt to murder me, the OMC leader.
OMC candidate Lawrence Lake took a video of himself in the ambulance saying he too was shot in the shoulder. Videos taken outside the lobby of a popular Maho hotel showed police officers and ambulance workers surrounding a dark sedan where a bloodied, apparently lifeless body was hunched over in the passenger seat. Another video by local media captured Arndell being wheeled on a stretcher into an ambulance. Meanwhile, following the incident, the Minister of Justice in St. Martin, Lyndon Lewis, strongly condemned all forms of violence, particularly if it was driven by political motives. In a statement, Lewis committed to conducting a thorough investigation, adding that those responsible will be held accountable under the law. Rising incidents of gun violence in Anguilla are raising a major alarm there. The police commissioner said, however, they have made some breakthroughs. The commissioner acknowledged that this has been a difficult stretch. And amidst the growing concerns, the government and opposition there on Thursday were at a joint press conference to highlight the urgency of the situation. Both Premier Ellis Webster and the opposition leader Cora Richardson spoke about the urgency of the situation. Richardson said the issue is a challenge for the entire society. Premier Webster called on the mobilization of the entire community to fight against the emerging scourge. Leader of the opposition in Antigua and Barbuda, Jamal Pringle, led a walkout of the opposition members in Parliament on Thursday as Member of Parliament for All Saints West rose in Parliament to give a personal explanation. On Monday, Smith resigned from the United Progressive Party and was sworn in less than 24 hours later as a government minister. The MPs walked out as Smith provided reasons for choosing to become an independent member of Parliament. While state media did not record the moment of the walkout, Reports say that MP Asot Michael urged the opposition parliamentarians to leave, but he remained in the chamber. Eventually, he joined the government members in a standing ovation at the conclusion of MP Smith's remarks. Meanwhile, Smith came out guns blazing as he condemned what he describes as deliberate efforts by the UPP to undermine his political career.
I want to place on the records today that their wicked plans to end my political career have failed miserably. Their wicked plans to deprive the constituents of All Saints West failed again miserably, Mr.
On reflecting on his challenges within the UPP, Smith said his only two sins were to challenge for the chairmanship and to throw his support behind Richard Lewis. He emphasized that his actions were driven by a commitment to the collective good rather than personal ambition.
And politics must never be about self. It must always be in the collective good of everyone. And because I made a decision that was in the best interest of the nation, it became the biggest sin against the leadership of the United Progressive Party, Mr. Speaker.
He also had a message for what he termed dictators within the UPP.
To the executive, the leadership of the United Progressive Party, if you want to control and dictate to members of this House, you should go and put your hat in the ring.
In a related story, Smith said he remains resolute in his commitment to his constituents. He made the comment as he apologized to party supporters following his resignation.
The people of All Saints West placed me in this honorable House to represent their best interests and the country's best interests, and that is what I will continue to do. The United Progressive Party that I joined 4 years ago, it is not the same United Progressive Party today. And I mean no disrespect to the supporters, because you have good members within the United Progressive Party, Mr. Speaker. I understand that my departure from the United Progressive Party would have hurt a few persons. I completely understand that. And when I was contemplating making this decision, Mr. Speaker, it was not about the backlash or the ridicule that I knew that I would get from certain members in the public. But in fact, what made me wonder was the hurt that I would place on some persons that I was able to build and form a bond with. But I say to those persons, Mr. Speaker, that I sincerely apologize for hurting them, Mr. Speaker, but I had to take what was the best decision in the best interest of the people of All Saints West and the people of Antigua and Barbuda.
According to Smith, the UPP is now attempting to assassinate his character.
The lies that are being spread in the public about me, Mr. Speaker, is not a true definition of my character. When you don't know a man's story, Mr. Speaker, you should not tell it. It does not give reasons for the persons, the members of the opposition party to personally go after my character, to personally try to bring me down and assassinate my character, Mr. Speaker. It is wrong. And I am the same genuine, loving, caring, honest Anthony Smith that served the United Progressive Party. And honesty, integrity, trustworthiness, they're some of the hallmarks that I build myself from, Mr. Speaker. And I will continue to be who I am.
Several CARICOM member states have agreed to send personnel to Jamaica to assist in the restoration of power to badly affected areas in southern St. Elizabeth, Manchester, and Clarendon. Sections of Jamaica remain without power since the passage of Hurricane Beryl on July 3. Energy Minister Darrell Vaz, during his post-cabinet briefing on Wednesday, said that it is unacceptable for communities in those parishes to enter a third week in the dark.
I had a discussion on Monday morning at 9 o'clock with the JPS management team, where I insisted that the time had come for external assistance. based on the suffering of the Jamaican people, based on the gaps that exist in the supply across every parish.
He said Belize, Suriname, Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana have agreed to send personnel to assist with restoration efforts, while Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith has been asked to lobby the wider region for support.
The time has come for external assistance so that whatever is outstanding can be done in the shortest possible time.
We now bring you these international reports.
The UN's top court, the International Court of Justice, has delivered an advisory opinion outlining that Israel's settlement of Palestinian territories are in breach of international law. Now, it had been examining the issue since the beginning of last year. I think we can take a quick listen now to that opinion being given.
The court considers it important to stress, as it did in its Wall advisory opinion, I quote, the urgent necessity for the United Nations as a whole to redouble its efforts to bring the Israeli-Palestinian conflict,
well, that is
which continues
the
to pose
court giving its opinion there in The Hague. I want to leave that momentarily and just bring in our security correspondent, Frank Gardner, into this. And Frank, just explain to viewers at home what exactly the court has been looking into, because important to underline that this has been going on since before the October 7th attacks by Hamas and the start of the Gaza war.
That's right. So this is the International Court of Justice, not the International Criminal Court. It's issuing an advisory. It's not legally binding, but it will be seen as a basis for international law, and it's examining the legality of Israel's occupation of Palestinian territories since 1967, particularly focusing on the West Bank and East Jerusalem and settlements therein. And it's a pretty damning verdict on Israel's actions and policies there. I'm just going to, because this is incredibly legalese, and as you can imagine, there was a big preamble as to what the framework of their work has been. This is delivered by the spokesperson for 15 judges. They've been examining this since 2022. They took evidence throughout February from around 50 countries. And their conclusions in brief are that Israel's policies and practices are in breach of international law. The continued presence of Israel in the occupied territories is illegal, and they call on Israel to cease all new settlement activity. It particularly focuses on the settlements and the treatment of Palestinians in those territories. Now, Israel, I think, they're unlikely to accept this. In the past, that they have not accepted the legality of rulings when it comes to their occupation of Palestinian territories. But I think it's a pretty hostile verdict for Israel, this.
I proudly accept your nomination for President of the United States.
Former U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday formally accepted the Republican Party's nomination for president. His keynote address at the Republican National Convention comes just days after he narrowly escaped an assassination attempt in Pennsylvania, which Trump detailed in a 14-minute account.
I heard a loud whizzing sound and felt something hit me really, really hard on my right ear. I said to myself, wow, what was that? It can only be a bullet.
After a dramatic entrance, the former president struck a rare conciliatory tone up front.
I am running to be president for all of America, not half of America, because there is no victory in winning for half of America.
The message of unity didn't last long, however, and Trump soon pivoted to well-worn attacks on the Biden administration in a meandering 90-minute-plus speech, the longest ever at a convention. Trump claimed without evidence that his criminal indictments are part of a Democratic conspiracy to prevent his election. He also warned that Joe Biden, his rival in the November election, would usher in World War III while casting himself, as he has many times, as the only candidate capable of saving the country from certain doom.
I could stop wars with a telephone call.
Trump devoted much of his speech to attacking migrants, a common theme in his presidential campaigns.
They're coming from everywhere. They're coming at levels that we've never seen before. It is an invasion indeed, and this administration does absolutely nothing to stop them. They're coming from prisons. They're coming from jails. They're coming from mental institutions and insane asylums.
Academic studies show that immigrants do not commit crime at a higher rate than nation, in which Trump's grip on the Republican Party appeared tighter than ever.
God bless the United States of America, our great country. Thank you very much, everybody.
Biden, meanwhile, is isolating at his home in Delaware with what his doctor said were mild symptoms of COVID-19. The president has faced mounting pressure from within his own party to drop out of the race since a shaky debate performance in late June. For weeks, Biden has remained adamant that he will remain on the ticket, but he is now reportedly taking calls to step aside seriously. One source said he was, quote, soul-searching about whether to withdraw from the race. Multiple Democratic officials think an exit is only a matter of time, according to sources familiar with the matter.
China's economy has a bumpy road ahead, officials said on Friday. They said a list of economic goals from a key Communist Party meeting this week had many complex contradictions. Tang Fangyu is part of the Central Committee's Policy Research Office.
Pushing forward Chinese-style modernization faces many complex conflicts and problems, and we must overcome multiple difficulties and obstructions through further comprehensive deepening of reforms, promoting better alignment between production relations and productive forces, the superstructure and economic base, state governance, and social development.
Pressure for deep changes in China's economy has risen this year as consumer and business sentiment hit near record lows. Global leaders have also grown more concerned with China's export dominance. The comments come following a 4-day closed-door meeting led by President Xi Jinping, which takes place once in roughly 5 years. Officials there made a number of seemingly contradictory pledges, including modernising the industrial complex while also expanding domestic demand. They also talked of stimulating growth and simultaneously curbing debt risks. The initial summary of the meeting didn't contain details of how Beijing plans to resolve tensions between policy goals. One such contradiction would be how to get consumers to spend more while resources flow mostly to producers and infrastructure. Market concerns are growing that a structural shift is needed to give consumers a greater role in the economy. Without that, analysts say debt could outpace growth to finance Beijing's industrial modernisation and global prominence goals. Some analysts warn the current path fuels risks of a prolonged period of near stagnation and persistent deflation threats, as seen in Japan since the 1990s. China is expected to publish a document with more detailed policy plans in the coming days.
Look, French Parliament, more politically fragmented and in crisis with no government, as MPs attended the first session of the National Assembly since the election. France's oldest MP, 81-year-old José González, opened proceedings with a vote for a new speaker.
In the interest of all of us and of France, we must take care not to add the divisions in France or heighten tensions in society.
Taking part, Marine Le Pen, whose National Rally Party failed to win the election but nearly doubled its number of MPs. Also former Socialist President François Hollande and Gabriel Attal, now France's caretaker Prime Minister. France's left-wing alliance won most seats in the parliamentary election, but its MPs are frustrated. They say President Emmanuel Macron is refusing to ask them to govern.
The National Assembly was dissolved and then the President decided not to listen to the election result. In every democracy, you turn towards those who won the election. So 2 weeks ago, he should have asked the new Popular Front to govern.
The situation's angering these left-wing supporters who protested in Paris.
We want a left-wing government with the Prime Minister from the Alliance. We want an agenda that serves the workers and citizens.
People here say that they feel Emmanuel Macron is doing everything that he can in order not to appoint a left-wing Prime Minister. But there's also an issue that the left-wing alliance have failed to come up with a candidate that they all agree on.
Rifts and disagreements have plagued the alliance of Greens, Socialists, Communists and the hard left since the election. If the left is unable to unite behind a candidate capable of building a parliamentary coalition, it could squander an opportunity that Macron may turn to his advantage, waiting until after the Paris Olympics to pick a prime minister from his own camp. Natasha Butler, Al Jazeera, Paris.
You were listening to the Midday News on WINNFM 98.9. The headlines?
St. Kitts and Nevis's health sector bolsters apparatus in preparation for hurricane impact.
St. Kitts Nevis breaks ground on 2 million gallon per day desalination plant.
Officers of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force District B receive recognition.
Politician injured and wife reportedly killed in St. Martin. Sectors join hands to condemn increasing gun violence in Anguilla. Internationally, Israeli presence in Palestinian territories is illegal and must end, the World Court has said.
Thank you for listening.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, and Caribbean.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Delisle Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Hey, good afternoon to everyone out there. Welcome to the second half of today's presentation of Voices. My name is Socrates, been with you since about 11 a.m. We had two lovely guests this morning. And right about now, we have another guest we want to introduce after I read two presentations. But first of all, we will head downtown and give credit to sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Here are your hosts for Volume Art IG
Day special.
Running July 11th to July 24th.
Now, our Value Club Blue Tank specials. Essential Everyday Barbecue Sauces, $7.99. Dunkin' Heinz Cake Mix, just $5.99. Philadelphia Cream Cheese Spreads, $13.99. IGA or Essential Everyday Frozen Waffles, $10.99. Buyer's Ice Cream, just $22.99. Dawn Dish Detergent, $12.99. And now our very low weekly
Value deals. Essential Everyday Pasta, $4.99. Essential Everyday Pasta Sauce, $9.99. Most Honey Bunches of Oats, $12.99. La Yogurt, $3.39. Equaline Hydrogen Peroxide, $6.99. Equaline Mouthwash, $10.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Tell them in Spanish.
sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
The clock on the wall says it's 12:40. I would like to read two articles and then present my guests before I open the lines to the public at large. So let's see what I've got now. This is from Prudencia Gayton. She's the executive assistant / HR officer at the St. Kitts Urban Development Corporation Limited. This is for taxi operators. Guys, I'm just a messenger, okay? It reads, "Good day, Presidents. This serves to alert you that in reference to our meeting where it was discussed and decided that taxis would not be allowed to park past 7 p.m. nightly, the initiative as agreed was to commence on August 7th, 2023. Consideration has been given for enough time to alert your fellow taximen and members of your association of the change that would take place. In this regard, we would like to formally notify you that although this initiative should have officially begun on Friday, September 1st, 2023, there are still vehicles that opt to remain overnight. Please note that we would like to reiterate that there will be no parking allowed in the Eastern Taxi stand between the hours of 7 p.m. and 6 a.m. daily. As noted on the sign that has already been erected, any parking after the time allotted would be considered a violation of the guidelines put in place, and vehicles would be towed at the owner's expense. To the SKUD Marina, we will be erecting additional signage that will include vehicles retrieved or retrieval costs. I do hope we can all mutually agree on the measures that are in place and continued the usual robust business relationship which is beneficial to all involved. And once again, this comes from Ms. Prudence Gayton. She is the Executive Assistant HR Officer at the St. Kitts Urban Development Corporation Limited. Okay, we've had communication, discussion on this, so it's the latest update, and I hope all concerned would act accordingly. Now, there's another article I'd like to present. You can find it. And it comes from a gentleman. He says, he says, "You can read the above on air, but I don't need any publicity. I believe this matter deserves public feedback." So I'll read accordingly. It says, "Good day. Annually, a service is organized at the Cenotaph to pay tribute to Kittitians and Divisions who died having gone to war. Our government sanctions the events with participation by members of cabinet, the police, defense force, fire and rescue, etc. However, Over 200 cetaceans and divisions perished due to the sinking of the Christina, our biggest disaster. Yet governments, especially on St. Kitts, shown empathy by paying public tribute. A government-sanctioned and funded memorial was established on St. Kitts behind the National Museum on the Bay Road a few years ago, but nothing is held there. Why not? What message is being sent to survivors and relatives, families, of those who died? However, each year, government commits, mobilizes resources, and have an event at the Cenotaph. August Monday will soon be here. Should our government ensure that this year and going forward, a ceremony is held to honor our victims of this huge local disaster? There's a question, and it pertains to the fact that a monument has been erected behind the treasury down there, the museum, and there's been no ceremony recognizing the importance of those who would have perished with the sinking of the Christina some 53 years ago, I think. So that's the person who sent the article, and he says he thinks it bears, I believe this matter deserves public feedback, so I'm going to interview my next guest, and then we open the lines for anyone who cares to comment on that particular topic. Now, we have with us in the studio a young and rising superstar, track star. She's actually the cousin of one of our national, heroes in terms of track and field. We're talking about Jason Rogers, right? One of our Olympian, 3 times Olympian Jason Rogers. We have in the studio with us one of his younger cousins. She is 7-year-old Cleopatra Lois, and she would have traveled from Anguilla a few years ago. She'll be taking part in the Culturama Games, as it's called, in Nevis on Sunday. She's also traveling with her sister and her mom. Now, my information is she's quite a phenomenon on the track, on the field in Anguilla, and she's going over to Nevis to take part in the games. We want to welcome to the studios of Win FM, Cleopatra. How are you doing, young lady?
Fine.
Okay, you want to come to the mic and speak a little louder? So, you're representing Anguilla in the event in Nevis on
Yes.
Sunday. What about what school do you represent in Anguilla? What school do you attend in Anguilla? What school do you attend in Anguilla? Do you go to? What's the name of your school?
Valley Primary School.
Valley Primary School? I know you have a lot of chat, but you're shy right now. Okay. So what have you been doing on track and field in Anguilla? Your race, what race do you take part in?
The 300 meter.
The 300 meter races? Do you win?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? What do you think is going to happen to you on Nevis? You'll be taking part, first time, you'll be competing outside of Anguilla. You'll be going to Nevis on Sunday. You have any threats to throw to them to tell them, well, look out, there's Cleo is coming? Speak into the microphone. Yeah. What's going on? Speak to the microphone. Okay, what's going to happen on Sunday?
I'm going to win.
You're going to win. What race will you be taking part in?
The 300 meter.
300 meters? How many times have you won this race in Anguilla?
3 times.
3 times. Okay, so what about your sister? I understand that your sister also is an athlete. What races does she run, and what does she take part in?
She runs the 400 meter.
She runs the 400 meters. What about the long jump? I'm told she does the long jump also.
She does.
She does? You're shy on me. So she runs the 400 meters. You run the 3.
She actually runs a 3, you know what? Well,
who's talking now? Who's talking now? We have the mother of Cleo in the person of Amber Lois. She's here with us, of course. They've traveled with their mom, and they'll be going to Nevis on Sunday for the races. So, Zara is not here, the elder. She is...
At home with her grandmother.
Yeah, she's 12 years old?
No, 11.
11 years old. She runs... Okay, explain to us, because Claire's a bit shy. Speak to us about what they're doing in Anguilla in terms of track and field, what the hopes are. They're going to Nevis, what the expectations are, the coaches here, etc. What school they go to. Talk to us about them.
Okay, they both attend the Valley Primary School. The track club is Rainbow Rocket.
Rainbow Rocket.
Yeah, the coach is Alexis Ryan. I think they've gotten to Nevis already. They left this morning for Nevis. Zara does long jump, 100, 200. She doesn't really do most of the long distance races. For Cleo, she doesn't like the 300 because it's long, but she does the 150, the 80 meters, the relays. She did long jump this year for the first time.
Cleo?
Yeah.
Wow.
And she came first.
In the long jump?
In the long jump. She jumped 2.56 meters. Yeah. Zara came first in it this year as well. Well, in May. She jumped, but first? No, she came second. She jumped 96 meters.
So you're a proud mom?
Yes, I am.
You are the cousin of?
Jason Rogers.
And he is also one of our
Yes.
respected Olympians. So does it have anything to do with the genes in the family? You're just trying to produce another, Olympian?
2 more Jason Rogers, yeah.
Okay. What about any other upcoming races?
Well, for now, it's just the meet in Nevis, and then they go back to Anguilla. I'm not sure what else they have this year.
Did you mention there's one in Trinidad
That's for next year.
For next year?
Yeah.
All
Zara
right.
potentially supposed to be doing that one next year.
The long jump or the 400 meters?
She has to do everything.
Okay. So there's a contingent of Anguillian young students. They are the primary age?
No, it's different ages. So it starts from, I think, grade 1 straight up to adults. So
She's trying to correct you. Speak up, let's hear what you're saying.
Kindergarten.
Start at kindergarten.
Okay, I'm not sure if
Okay.
there'll be races for the kindergartners.
But that's where it starts. The program starts.
Yeah.
Okay, but you have from grade 1 up to
Adults, yeah.
Adults taking place in
There
Nevis.
are, I think, 6 teams from Anguilla. There's Antigua. I'm not sure how many from St. Kitts, and I'm not sure how many from Nevis. But yeah, it's supposed to be a big thing. It's an annual thing. Sorry. So, this is their first time being here. So,
Taking
hoping
place
for the best.
in Nevis?
It's an annual thing in Nevis, yeah.
Okay.
It's the Culturama Games.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is their first time here.
First time from Anguilla.
Yes.
And you brought an entourage to cheer them on?
I didn't have to work with an entourage. The entourage is here.
So the coaches here and other
The coaches
members
here
of
are the
the
members of the
and
track
field?
club, yeah.
That is good. It's
Yeah,
called
they
the
came in
Rockets.
today, the Rainbow Rockets.
Rainbow Rockets.
Yeah, and the coach is Coach Alexis Ryan.
All right. So there's lots of potential and promise and hope in athletics and positive activities for young people, which is good. We're not the news we get from Anguilla at the moment is not good, but I think it's a one-off from time to time. Well, what would you like to say to Anguilla? Cleo, what would you like to say to the people of Anguilla? Okay, ma'am, what would you like to say to the people of Anguilla? I have to shy ladies with me in the studio.
What, especially now,
Mhm.
based on what's happening, it makes no sense. I always tell people Anguilla is one way in, one way out. You can't drive around Anguilla like you can in St. Kitts. So the senseless shooting and stuff like that that's going on, Because when you look at it, what are they really fighting over?
Latest report is that there was a shooting today.
A shooting this morning about 10 o'clock in front of the courthouse. And the guy who they shot at died. 15 shots.
15 shots. It's a troubling development. As I say, we have this positive image of the young folks coming out to represent the Rainbow. Is it Rainbow City it's called?
Rainbow Rockets.
No, what is Anguilla called?
Rainbow City.
Rainbow City. And 7-year-old Cleo, 11-year-old Zara. But they're hearing, because I asked, she asked me yesterday, which is the best place in the world, the best country in the world?
The best, they asked, which is the best, to you, what country is the best country to live in? And Cleo said to you, St. Kitts. She prefers to live St. Kitts than here, in Anguilla.
I told her Anguilla.
And you told Anguilla.
Because there's no place like home. It doesn't matter what's happening. You have to love your bonding land. You have to appreciate this is your home, irregardless. Right?
Yep.
And so I am actually proud of you, of your achievements. I've seen your trophies. I've seen your graduation pictures, etc., etc. I know you're 7-year-old, you're a little shy, and we forgive you for that, okay? But as long as you go to the tracks on Sunday and you cheer it up and you win your races, it's all worth it, okay? So is anybody you want to say hi, hello to before you leave the studio? What about your grandma? What about your father? Anything at all? No, say it in the microphone.
Hi Zara, hi Daddy, hi Grandma.
Okay, so you're hearing it from 7-year-old Cleopatra. She's here with us in the studios of WINNFM. Very, very shy. She's only 7 years old. We forgive her for that, but she's here to take part in the Cultural Games in Nevis coming up on Sunday. And you're doing the 200 meters on Sunday, or which?
No, the 150.
The 150?
The 80 meters. She should be doing long jump and relays.
Okay. She's going to whisper in your ear something now. What do you want to say now?
And the 60 meters.
Speak in the microphone.
And the 60.
The 60 meters is for the younger folks. You're doing the 80 meter.
Okay. We are going to pause right now to give credit once more to our sponsors. And when we come back, we're going to open the lines to see who's out there with any comments of any sort to contribute to today's program. Okay? We'll be right back.
Horsford's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less and save more. How, you ask? Essential Everyday and Equiline. Spend less on our Essential Everyday products and get the best quality, the best taste, and the best value. Spend less for all your family health and beauty needs with the Equiline brand of over-the-counter products. Horsford's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less. With our Essential Everyday products and Equiline over-the-counter health and beauty care products. Shop smart and spend less at Value Mart, where price matters most.
Attention, savvy shoppers.
It's that time of year again to upgrade your home and feed your family with Horsford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store.
For over 25 years, we've been making dreams come true
by offering cashback coupons for free groceries on all hire purchases. That's right, we've given away over $1 million worth of groceries to our loyal customers.
And this year, it's your time to cash in on the savings.
Whether you're in the market for a new sofa, a sleek kitchen upgrade,
or a cozy bedroom set,
Horsford's and Ashley Furniture Home Store have everything you need to turn your house into a home.
And when you make a higher purchase with us,
you'll receive cashback coupons redeemable for free groceries.
Yes, sir.
So why wait? Visit Horsford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store today and take advantage of this incredible offer.
Upgrade your home, feed your family, and save big with cashback coupons for free groceries. Only
at Horsford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. It's just about 12:59. It gives us roughly 30 minutes to have a little chit chat on many topics. I read something that was sent to me by a concerned citizen with a very important topic. I tend to agree with that person. We have members of the, well, I would say Ras Aya and members of the Ras Naibingi theocracy who have been pushing and keeping the government's feet to the fire in terms of the Buckley's riot and the need to erect a monument to honor and respect those who gave their lives in that particular event that took place in 1934, the 1935, riots. We have the annual trek down to the Senator at the Fort Point. We are on the second Sunday in East November. There's a memorial service in honor of those who gave their lives in World War I. We have all the folks in uniforms, have the fire service. On that given, we have the Governor General, well, folks from government, the police, those in military. There's a service held there in honor of those who gave their lives. We have erected, just over 2 years ago, a monument at the back of the museum, what we know as the Treasury Building. And the names of those who perished in the sinking, during the sinking of the Christina, the names are inscribed on that particular plaque. What the caller is saying is that, not the caller, what the person is saying that there's been no concerted effort to keep anything ceremonial to honor our own. We understand the optics of not celebrating but observing what around the world is known as Poppy Day in some countries, where the poppies are sold. Even when I was going to school, they sold poppies for a penny. You wore it. So this was a European construct where all the islands that took part in the World War, being part of the British Commonwealth, we still observe that. What we are saying that we need to honor our very own, those because of a natural disaster, those who lost their life during protest, like those who lost their lives in Buckley's riot. I've attended at least 3 of those meetings, annual meetings, and I've heard the repeated promise from government that next year we'll have a monument or a building in honor of those folks. I'm really looking forward to that, and I have to thank the folks from the Naibingi theocracy has been pushing the government and those who've been making promises to honor them in that regard. So we have the Senator being honored, the folks, the ceremony that takes place there every second Sunday each November. The folks who lost their life during the sinking of the Christina. Those who gave their lives during the Buckley's riot must be given equal equal mention and regard. So the lines are open, 6620989, for those who want to call in and make any kind of contribution. But those are the 2 topics on the table at the moment. So we keep the lines open as we wait our calls. Pardon me. As it relates to the issue of the parking at Port Zante, that was discussed. Chris Collins, thank you. Chris Collins is saying that we are surrounded by future stars. Well, we have a caller? Okay, let's take this caller. Chris, I'll get back to you. Could I call you live on Voices? Could I caller? You're live on Voices? You would have missed a call. Hello, caller, are you there? Hello? Well, a caller, are you there? Are you hearing them? There seem to be a little... Hello? Are you there?
Hello, Socrates?
Yes.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Gregory. How are you doing?
Blessed in Jesus' name, and greetings in Jesus' name, the only Savior of his chosen elect sinners, to save them from the sins and from hell, and the second person, the eternal Trinity. Now, first of all, I would like to say that, well, I think it was yesterday on the island team, right? Now, it's no secret. I believe in the right to bear and carry arms. Okay? Because I believe God has not given any government any authority to disarm anybody.
Are you saying that you do not believe in the right to carry arms? Is that what you're saying?
No, I believe in the right to carry arms.
You believe in the right to carry arms? Okay.
Bear and carry arms.
To bear and carry arms.
Bear and carry arms.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Because, like I said, from what I read in the Bible, God has not given any government any authority to disarm anybody. So ipso facto, that means you do have the right to carry and bear arms. Now, what I would also like to say, well, culture had called in and say, well, and if everybody have arms, that means, for example, the shooting that happened in St. Martin, because that is what the context was. Apparently, he gave the impression that would not have happened, but the thing is that as far as I know, St. Martin is very strict, like us, on people owning arms, and the killing of the politician wife, that was illegal. That was illegal. So this thing about making laws to get rid of guns is based upon a very deadly and dangerous fantasy, because when you make laws against people carrying and bearing arms, you actually only affect those who do not want to get in problem with the law. And so therefore, they don't own arms. But the criminals still have the arms, and the criminals still going to do the illegal acts. But this time it's going to be a whole lot easier, because the vast majority of the citizens who ain't getting no permission by the government to carry arms, they are armless, and so the criminals doing the crime against the citizens is made a whole lot easier. And restricting arms, for example, in St. Martin, which the context was about, did not stop the criminals from having arms, and did not stop them from killing the politician wife. Making laws against bearing arms doesn't stop what we wanted to stop. That is just a fantasy. That simply because we have a law mean that it can stop such, but that is just a dangerous, very deadly, destructive fantasy.
So are you advocating, Gregory, that anybody should have the right to bear arms because God didn't instruct any government to deny persons the right to carry arms? Is that your position?
Yeah, right. Well, I shouldn't say should have the right. They have the right. Not should have the right, but they have the right. It's just that government does not respect it, because God has not given any government the right to disarm anybody. So everybody do have that right. It's just that government hinders us from exercising that right. But a more important, but also I shouldn't say more important, but another issue I would like to say on a local front as well. There's this guy called Everton Obi Powell. He have a Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And he have some clippings. He have some clippings on the Facebook, okay? Some video clippings. And one of them, three of them really is about big lies. Well, the last time I was on, three of them was about big lies. But one of them in particular, Big Lies said that the judge told him that if he ain't get a lawyer, the judge said the judge is going to rule in favor of the claimant.
Mm-hmm.
If Big Lies does not get a lawyer. Now, I find that to be highly disturbing, and I find that at the very best, a very corrupt thing. Two, because a man does not have a lawyer, whether he wrong or whether he prove himself wrong or right in the court,
it's up to him.
You're going to rule in favor of the claimant?
You cannot punish a person because they don't they choose to represent themselves.
Exactly, a person should have that right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that should have the right. A person have that rule against a person because they chose to represent themselves. It's a very corrupt thing. You know, no matter how right the person show themselves or prove themselves to be, you're going to vote. I'm sorry, you're going to decide in the claimant's favor. No, that can't be right.
As I know it, right?
Never be right.
The person who's accused of whatever and don't have the means to engage a lawyer, they normally provide that person with a court-appointed lawyer who works pro bono, but he's in criminal cases. Well, you're right, not in civil matters.
Not in civil cases.
Not in civil matters. So if
right, I think this should be a civil matter, isn't it?
It is a civil matter as I understand it.
Right.
So if Gregory chooses not to employ a lawyer, to pay a lawyer, maybe he can afford it or not, but he goes to court to represent himself, he should not be denied that privilege or treated with any bias. He has a right to stand and present and defend himself as best he can. But based on what, and I would have seen the clip of the guy saying that the judge is indicating to him, if you don't have a lawyer, I am willing to rule in favor of the claimant. That's wrong.
That's what Big Guy said in the clip. And I'm saying if that is true, because I wasn't there to hear it, but I'm saying if that is true, that's a very terrible miscarriage of justice. That's a very corrupt thing to say, let alone do.
Well, I don't...
Sorry,
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Go ahead. I don't think any judge in his right mind would put themselves out there to be reversed and appeal. Because if a person say, well, you're threatened, whether by innuendo or by your open language, that you are going to rule against me because I'm not taking a certain procedure, that's wrong. But you open yourself, you expose yourself to be overruled on appeal. But that being said, the process is provided for everyone. If you can afford legal representation, fine. If you can't, fine. If you choose not to, it's your prerogative.
And not only that, but I think there should be proper disciplinary actions that should be taken against such a judge. If the person did say that.
Those are grounds for having somebody recuse himself from the case or asking him to recuse himself from a matter. Because you're actually demonstrating a certain bias prior to hearing the matter in its entirety.
That is so true. That is so true.
But
so like I say, in the end, these are the negative results of us not heeding the Bible and not obeying the Bible, you know? Like I always say that in the end, these are the cursed results of us not being obedient to the Bible.
Okay.
As individual and as a society, and in every area of life as well. Okay, yeah, but this is a very, you see, a lot of people don't realize, but this is a very troubling thing to hear.
Which is, with Big Lies on the judge?
Yeah, Big Lies.
They're sorted out.
But I think the two matters them are troubling, but I'm at the moment, for this point in time, I'm focusing on the Big Lies one.
Okay, I am not in favor of a wild west society where anyone can claim, well, they have the right to carry a firearm. The government responsibility, whether you admit it or not, is to maintain order. You have the legal arm of the government, which is there to maintain order. And when a person can figure, well, I have a gun, I can do what I want, carry what I want, and threaten others, that's no, the laws that you have to adhere to. And so, you're saying the government don't have the right to prevent people from carrying firearms? Huh?
Based upon the teaching of the Bible, God has not given.
So where exactly in the Bible can I find this?
Disarm anyone.
Where exactly can I find it written that God didn't give any government any authority to disarm anyone?
Right. Because it is something that the Jews from the explicit teachings of the scriptures.
Where can Socrates find in the Bible that is written that the government don't have the authority to disarm anyone from carrying
you
fire?
can't find it like that. No, if you're asking to find it exactly like how you say, no, you can't find it like that.
So it's based on your interpretation then?
Well, it is something that, whether something explicit or implicit, It's still your interpretation, but
it's up to our interpretation. So then it's open to interpretation?
Well, no, there's a right interpretation and there's a wrong interpretation. If your interpretation is consistent with the whole of Scripture, and if your interpretation is consistent with logic and those sort of stuff, then that is the correct interpretation. But if your interpretation is inconsistent with parts of Scripture and with its own self and is illogical and that sort of stuff, then that interpretation is wrong.
There are legislation.
You see a lot of the teachings from the Bible. The Jews, they're not stated explicitly in the Bible like how people like it.
They are deduced, so they're not implicit.
Right, like the doctrine of the Trinity. Like the doctrine of the Trinity, it ain't explicitly stated in one passage. It is deduced from the many teachings of Scriptures. When you put them together, that is what is deduced, the doctrine of the Trinity. And other teachings of the Bible as well.
Well, I am not as versed as you are, so most times I listen to you and then, question about time,
For example, Socrates, Romans chapter 13 tell you the role of government is to punish evildoers, as the Bible tells you what evil is and how to punish them, and to approve of those that do good, as the Bible tells you what is good and how to approve of them. And then the other part in 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 6 tell you, do not go beyond what is written in the Bible. So it is like me telling you, Socrates, I want you to go on, but only buy me groceries from Rams. Well, I don't have to tell you, well, Socrates, only buy me groceries from Rams, but do not buy it from Value Mart, do not buy it from Best Buy. No, I ain't got to go through that, because it is the Jews, by me telling you, only buy my grocery from Rams, that you ain't supposed to go to the other places.
That's your point, but let me tell you something, right?
Say that.
I got your point. But in governing the country, you have to look at all the elements that can pop up in society that cannot work for the betterment or the best interest of the country. And you make certain rulings or application that serves the greater problem. In Anguilla this morning, a man received 15 bullets just outside the courthouse. Whatever his gang affiliation or not, that's a brazen move, right? And the government have to do whatever they can to curtail that kind of behavior. You have the right to apply for a license for firearm. The government have the right to deny you or not. If you have to take that matter to court and prove it in court, fine. But they have to ensure that they just don't give firearms to just anybody in society. And if you violate the laws, they have a right, because the governing body, to take that from you. So they say government don't have the right because of the Bible to take firearms from people. I am not buying that.
Yeah, but the problem is, though, that right that you talk about that you say governments have is contrary to the teaching of the Bible, because the Bible teaches that do not have that right. The Bible implicitly teaches that the government does not have that right.
So
and all
heavens
come from God. All rights come from God.
Okay.
You know, if a government can give you a right, then the government can also take it back.
So what's wrong with that?
That's what a lot of people don't realize.
What's wrong with that? If you violate the statutes or the conditions of whatever it is, they revoke it.
Mm. So if a government give you the right to freedom of speech, the right, they can take back your right to freedom of speech.
You're free to do what you ought.
You see, that's the problem.
You're free to do what you ought, not just what you want. If you violate other person's human rights with what you say, freedom of speech gives you the right to do what you ought, not what you don't, what you want.
Yeah, but if a government give you the freedom of speech,
they don't have to give you. It's an inherent right, but you can actually violate that.
Well, how do you know it is an inherent right?
It's an inherent right.
You see?
Like breathing oxygen. Like breathing oxygen.
How do you know that?
But you were born with the gift of speech. To use it naturally, it's an inherent right.
Well, how do you know that? I hear you the statement you're making. I hear the statement you're making, but I want to know, how do you know your statement is correct?
How does dogs know they can swim?
How does
dogs know they can swim? Who told them?
dogs? Well. I don't think dogs know anything like how we humans know things. Dogs have instincts, and God controls those instincts.
Well, if you go by instinct, instinctively, you know you have the right to speak, but not to the extent where you can infringe on other persons or libel people, say things that's not correct, and you offend people. There is offensive speech.
But how do you know that freedom of speech is inherently? You know? How do you know that? I hear you making it say, but how do you know that? How do you know that? Only one way we could know that is because God in the Bible has given us, to a certain degree, freedom of speech. That's how I know we have freedom of speech.
Okay, Gregory.
But if you ain't got in the Bible, you don't know anything.
Okay, Gregory. All right.
But anyway, but also like I said, the one with big lies, that's a very serious issue. That should not be ignored. It should be something taken very seriously.
There are times I agree. There are times I just walk in the court and give up the ghost. So no problem. Take win right now. Okay. We got about 2 minutes past.
Thank you. God bless.
Anytime, sir. Anytime. About 12 minutes past 1 o'clock. We're going to pause now to give credit to our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Hey there, summer lovers. Ready to make your summer unforgettable?
Oh, yeah.
Get down to Horsfort's Building in Neva Center, something summer special, where the heat is on with a sizzling 25% off select items. Fire up the fun with top-notch barbecue grills, perfect for those backyard cookouts. Dive into savings on swimming goggles, coolers, and inflatable and mini pools. Keep your drinks icy and your days splashy. Relax in style with our comfy summer chairs or float away on our luxurious floating waterbeds. And don't miss out on our premium gas grills for the ultimate grilling experience. All this and so much more. Head to Horsfort's Building in Neva Center, something summer specials today, and catch these hot deals before they're gone. Something Summer Specials, your one-stop shop for summer fun. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
IGA special.
Running July 11 to July 24.
Now, our Value Club Blue Tank specials. Essential Everyday Barbecue Sauces, $7.99. Dunkin' Hines Cake Mix, just $5.99. Philadelphia Cream Cheese Spreads, $13.99. IGA or Essential Everyday Frozen Waffles, $10.99. Buyer's Ice Cream, just $22.99. Dawn Dish Detergent, $12.99. And now, our very low weekly
Value Deals. Essential Everyday Pasta, $4.99. Essential Everyday Pasta Sauce, $9.99. Most Honey Bunches of Oats, $12.99. La Yogurt, $3.39. Equaline Hydrogen Peroxide, $6.99. Equaline Mouthwash, $10.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Tell them in Spanish.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
We're back. We got just about 7 minutes before close the play today. The lines are open. If anybody want a chance in calling and share their thoughts, we go straight to the phone lines. Call 11 voices. Go to caller 11 voices. Go to caller 11 voices. I'm not getting that person. I have a little technical issue here, so let's see if we get it sorted. Nothing doing? Okay. Let's see if there's anyone want to try their luck. So yeah, the whole gun issue is very scary, and sometimes it's not what happened, but how it happens. Take the mindset of a person who goes to the courthouse. There's someone there, whether to give evidence or not, but you go with intention to take their life. I understand that the person who lost their life was seated in a car, and then this person or the person approached He ran into the courthouse. And in all that interaction, he got 15 shots. The shooter got away. But think of the mindset, the brazenness. The courthouse is next to the police station. Close proximity. Right? So have that mindset. I think we've come a long, long way with that. What was the norm in terms of societal behavior, in terms of as it relates to the shootings we've had in the region, both in St. Kitts and around the region. That's scary. Scary. You mean by any means necessary to find that person, your target. It doesn't matter where they show up. Outside the courthouse. 15 shots. I don't think we know how to go back to how things used to be. As somebody mentioned in the song, The Good Old Days. You just have to doing carnival. You have
carnival is coming up next 2 weeks.
Next 2 weeks, you know.
But not only that, last night they had a praise fest.
A praise fest.
A praise fest
in
last
Anguilla.
night in Anguilla.
And this was triggered because what?
Based on the recent increase in gun violence.
They've had, somebody said they were like 2 in 1 day? Or between 24 hours?
2 and 3 days, yeah.
And this is related
and prior to that,
uh-huh.
they had a vehicle drove across Back Street, the same place where we used to go and buy.
I know, the overlook.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of guys were there, and they drove up and just released shots. No one died, but five persons got hit. And then in Anguilla. Then 2 weeks after that, after 12, a guy had just finished work in Maliahana.
That's a hotel?
A hotel. Mm-hmm. Down where they work. Just around the corner from me, the hotel.
Mm-hmm. But people don't know.
Yeah.
So making references.
Yeah, it's a hotel. Yeah. He got killed right there. Like, we literally drove over the blood the following morning.
He had just finished working?
He had just finished working.
So they know he was targeted.
They knew his schedule, yeah. And then 3 days after that, a couple people got shot. Well, one died, but others got injured in the shooting. The guy wasn't even 27.
This is Little Anguilla?
Little Anguilla.
Or Little Neighbor?
Yeah, Little Anguilla.
The other guy in Nevis was sentenced a couple of years ago for some like 34 years. Aggregate of a number of, I think one including murder. So he got like 34 years in prison.
But the thing is, just like St. Kitts had the gun amnesty, they had it in Anguilla. They had
the gun amnesty in Anguilla?
They had the gun amnesty in
How
Anguilla.
recent was this?
This year. And they only got one gun. And the last
Anguilla small? I don't know.
But if you read the police Facebook page, when they have stop and searches, the guns that they come up with, the guns and ammunition that they come up with
on the street
during
stop
and search.
This is Anguilla we're talking about, right?
Yeah, this is Anguilla we're talking about. Let me go on the Facebook. The other day, they had up something about some guns they collected.
And the nature of the guns?
Yeah, and the nature of
But during the amnesty, which is a commendable effort, they were only able to retrieve
one rusty old gun.
One rusty old gun.
One rusty old gun.
Wow.
Yeah, so ammunition recovered. On Monday, July 1st, officers from the tactical unit were on patrol in the North Valley area when they encountered and engaged a known suspect. The individual managed to flee to a nearby house and subsequently escaped. A search warrant was executed on the premises, resulting in recovery of one Glock 26 pistol, 3 magazines, a total of 161 rounds of ammunition, consisting of .762, .4 9mm caliber rounds.
And that's
nobody locked up for that because the guy got away.
They know who the person is.
I would assume they know who the person is because they said no, they saw him. Mm-hmm. They approached him, but he ran. They said it's a known suspect. They engaged a known suspect.
So the search is still on for him?
I don't know if they're looking for him, however the case is, but those are what they found.
Mm-hmm.
upon executing the search warrant at the premises.
So, what is the reaction of the police? That's a lot. Are they asking the public to, if they know?
They ask for assistance, but just like most other places, every friend has a friend and every police has a family member. So if you're my family member and you're probably hot, I know why you get locked up. So just like everywhere else, each one tell one.
And Carnival is fast approaching.
Carnival is this month end. Into
and one would feel that will put a damper because that's what is the police doing. We actually just about 1 minute to go into this program, and we shared some information emanating out of Anguilla. You brought some information that you would have, I won't say first hand.
It's on the police Facebook page, so you can go and read it.
Okay. We have come to the end of today's presentation of Voices on the 19th of July. It's Friday and it's weekend. I want to wish everybody a safe, enjoyable weekend. We want to say congratulations to the young athletes who will be taking part in the Cultural Games on Sunday at Nevis. We want to wish little Zara, she's here with us in the studio, 7-year-old track and field star.
Where is Zara?
Sorry, not some of Zara, Cleo. Because it's Cleo and Zara. But Cleo is here with us, 7-year-old. Want to say bye-bye to everyone because we're leaving now, okay? And welcome them to the games.
And tell them to come out on Sunday to support you.
Come out on Sunday to support me.
What's your name?
Your sister.
Me and my sister.
What's your sister's name?
Zara.
And where you from?
Anguilla.
Okay, you're here to represent, right?
Yeah.
Okay. On that note, we want to say thank you to all of viewers and listeners who were part of this program today. And hopefully, God's willing, on Monday, we'll continue another presentation of Voices. Bye.
Bye.
Portsmouth's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less and save more. How, you ask? Essential everyday